education, education and education, the benefit which are going to accrue to the economies is far more basically than what we can achieve by investing in other capital goods or luxuries or other avenues of expenses. Basically, the issue which arises in that is that our priority has to, as rightly said by Shabba, that in Pakistan, for example, I'll give example of Pakistan as I'm more familiar with that example. The 58% or more of the population is young population which is there. And that young population is our asset. We have to spend to make sure that our assets are nourished, polished, developed, skilled, and be able to generate the benefits to the economy and the country as a whole. And that should be our top priority in our opinion. And the studies show even in developed economies, these studies are showing that the benefits by investing in education and health and the social sector is far more than investing in other areas, basically.
Shabbar wants to add something.
Of course, sir.
Yeah, please.
Can I just add? If you are talking of there are two kinds of finances. If you're talking about the individual finances, you should buy the car. But when you are sitting on the government finances, you spend on education. The difference is the government is spending on cars and people are spending on education. Try to understand. This is the problem. The car should be bought. Everybody should have car and should be money to buy a car. And the government should only spend on education. Our tragedy is our governments are buying cars and poor people are educating their people. That is the tragedy of the subcontinent in the last 800 years.
Sir, you want to add something to it, and then we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, we can move on, please. Who's next?
Thank you for very excellent presentations, Naqvi Sahab and Shabbar Sahab. Both of the presentations were obviously largely on policy side. My question is that despite so much sane advice that comes from this forum, and especially, I mean, our great Shabbar Zaidi Sahab is learned. He has been sitting in FBR for at least not less than 2 decades, if not more, out of 5 decades of ICAP's existence, and you give them all the free advice. I mean, we all are all convinced of the same advice that you give. What is the reason that you're not able to convince FBR and the policy makers with whom you sit that they don't take your advice?
I think there are two kinds of corrections you can make. One is don't let them go on a totally wrong way. That is also a correction. I think Mansoor Sahab and I am, and Abdullah Sahab, all three of us are sitting on the Revenue Advisory Council of the Government of Pakistan at the moment. And they are not accepting what we are saying in many phases, in many places. But at least we try our best not to go there, not to let them go in a totally wrong way. That is at least I believe that has been our contribution. But the problem, the real problem is, as I used in my discourse also, the real problem is the parliament. The taxation can only be there when there is a participative democracy. The only democracy doesn't work. The people have to have a faith on the democracy, and they should, as I said, the taxes are for the people and by the people. Do we believe in all of us, all the people around here? They don't believe in this. That is the reason. Whenever we say something, I was just as you were talking, I was talking to Abdullah Sahab on a very simple issue. All of us are convinced, but their sorrow is lying somewhere in the desk of a clerk.
Supplementary observation, not a question. I agree with you partly, but I think what we are missing is the real problem of this nation is not in the policy area, in my humble opinion. It is more in the implementation. It is more that we lack tone at the top. We talk things, but we don't implement, or we talk one thing and do another. I think there is a lot of disconnect. We talk such good things everywhere, but I think in terms of implementation and enforcement, I think that is where the implementation machinery, that is the real issue. And that is the real issue that we need to tackle. Thank you.
I had one slide, one slide which she has not allowed me to read, to go through. Who are the runners to mount the hurdles? Change the team, not the rule of the game. The question is, the problem is that there is a serious problem in the will of the people at the top to correct. And once that will is not there, and that is not coming, and their will can only come when they have a pressure of a participative democracy. You cannot force to expect a messiah will come in. The same people like us will come in, but there has to be democratic pressure to put pressure on them so they actually have a will. That's the answer.
Okay, thank you. Shabar, there's one question on that side, right side.
Shabar, you were just saying, you gave it in your presentation also, that you have to dovetail your revenue generation into the politics and, democracy. When you have democracy, then you'll have greater revenue generation, tax revenue generation. Ironically, in our country, the big leap, the big jump in the tax collection was in non-representative setup. That was 99 to 2008, and under the able stewardship of Mr. Abdullah Yusuf. Mr. Yusuf, if I correctly recall, way back in 1999, the total revenue collection was 300 billion rupees. And when you exited, it was 4 times or 5 times. So how is this irony? I mean, it doesn't reconcile with what Shabar is trying to put forward.
Can I answer it? Sir, the question is, Saifuddin Saab, the question is not the quantum of money. The question is from where you are receiving the money. If you are receiving the money by taxing electricity, petroleum, gas, indirect taxes, import duties, and it's a tax collection. But the question is, have we been able to actually collect the equitable direct taxes? That is the question. And second question, Saifuddin's answer is that we have seen democracies, or we are, I would say, bearing the democracies, but we have not actually gone through a phase of participative democracies where the people actually participate at the parliament level. At the moment that this is disconnect, what Asad was talking about. But I would not like to mix up with the quantum. I would like to mix in the quality of the taxes which are being collected.
Thank you.
I would like to take the opportunity to invite Mr. Abdullah Yusuf, who's a former chairman of the FBR and council member of ICAP, to the podium for his comments on the session. Please give him a very big round of applause.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As they say, there is never a free lunch. And that's what I have been told today, that you now have to substitute for the current chairman FPR. And here I am between the two ex-presidents of ICAP, sandwiched between the two of them, and trying to coordinate this particular session. But nevertheless, there is an ex-chairman of FPR that you have to live with today. Now, this whole issue of revenues, revenue mobilization, direct, indirect taxes and all that, for the developing economies that we are talking about. Why is it that we are not really able to do what we have the potential to do, as a matter of fact, in most of these countries? And I believe that more than the